What's up, everybody on YouTube? AJ Rose about to discuss another video, and today we're going to be talking about why the James Harden trade to the Clippers really doesn't change that much. Yeah, I said it, and I really don't think it's a crazy thing to say, because honestly, of course, we know that James Harden is a really good player, I would say, in the league right now. Definitely all-star caliber, how he's been playing the past couple of seasons. Of course, not the same score, but still a really good player. Of course, led the league in assists last year, and still can play some really good basketball and impact the team, but it's not even that I want to expand on in this video. But before I even get into this trade, and James Harden being on the Clippers now and his fit overall, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Make sure you also hit that like button. I post videos about sports, lifestyle, and pop culture. So with that being said, let's get into the video.
I meant at least I'm not meant just shooting the basketball every time. I meant like I think the game and I'm a creator on the court. You know what I mean? So if I got a voice to where I can, hey coach, I see this. You know what you think about this? Then it's like, oh, okay. Like somebody that trusts me, that believes in me, that understands me, that I'm just not I'm not a system player. I am a system. You know what I mean? So somebody that can have that dialogue with me and understand and move forward and figure out and make adjustments on the fly throughout the course of games. That's all I really care about. You know what I mean? It's not about me scoring the basketball, scoring 34 points. I've done it already.
So that's basically what James Harden had to say in his introductory press conference with the Clippers. And of course, there was a lot of drama in there in Philadelphia. And honestly, I will say this about the Daryl Morey James Harden situation. If Daryl Morey promised James Harden a contract and then after that just ghosted him, he is wrong in that aspect. But Daryl Morey should have seen the decline that James Harden was having in terms of his game. We've seen it, unfortunately, throughout his career. James Harden has not shown up in the biggest moments. Of course, he had those couple of 40-point games in the Celtics series in the second round of the 2023 playoffs. But then we saw he folded in game 6 and 7 to no other. And as a person from Houston who supported the Rockets, it was just awful to see the playoff games that he had. Of course, the game 6 game against the Spurs in 2017 in the second round, that was just awful, and he ended up being in the strip club right afterwards. I mean, it's just terrible to see stuff like that. But this is not really to trash James Harden on what has happened in the past or anything like that. It's to talk about how his overall presence will impact the Los Angeles Clippers. And of course, we already know they have guys like superstar Kawhi Leonard, of course Paul George, who's also a superstar in his own right, Russell Westbrook, who's been playing great basketball ever since he signed with the Clippers last year. And of course, they have some good depth overall with Terrence Mann and people of that nature, and still having Tyronn Lue as a head coach. So they definitely have some good things going for them, but it's really just a team that I cannot trust overall. Coupled with that, and then also James Harden really being the most untrustworthy player in the league, I mean, is that really an ingredient for success? James Harden, we know how good he is, man. And of course, we know how great Kawhi Leonard is and Paul George is. With them, it's always injuries. And who's gonna step up? Of course, you have maybe more reinforcements in terms of adding a James Harden when one of those players goes down. Inevitably, hopefully, we won't have to talk like that, because hopefully Paul George and Kawhi Leonard can stay healthy for majority of the year, but you never know, man, and their injury history says otherwise. But adding James Harden in is gonna really complicate things, I think, offensively, and that's pretty obvious. Should we see Kawhi Leonard? He's a great playmaker, not only scoring wise but also being able to create for others. Same with Paul George to an extent. Of course, they're both dominant scorers, but still are able to do that. And then I think the person this is really gonna affect the most, obviously, is Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's been playing great with the basketball in his hands at the point guard in Los Angeles, and we saw Russell Westbrook and James Harden play together in the 2019-20 season on the Houston Rockets. I mean, sure, they were solid together, but they didn't have enough ultimately, and James Harden didn't mind Russell Westbrook leaving and going to the Wizards after that, so that shows something for sure. But I guess Russell Westbrook had to be fine with James Harden joining the Clippers for that to happen. But also Steve Ballmer, I mean, he wants to win, so I don't blame him for going all in. I just don't know how that's all gonna work. You're gonna have Russell Westbrook be a spot-up shooter while James Harden is dancing for 20 seconds on the shot clock potentially. That's not an ingredient for success. We saw Russell Westbrook play the catch-and-shoot role for the Los Angeles Lakers, and everyone trashed him, acting like he was bad. But now when he's on the Clippers, of course, he's revived and resurged. But really, Russell Westbrook has been really good and never trashed the whole time. It's just about where you put him at, because he's never been a dominant and great shooter in his career. He's always been a playmaker and a facilitator. And you have him in a catch-and-shoot role with James Harden, I really don't think that's going to be good. And then really, it's more so beyond the team that it doesn't change anything, but the competition, not only in the Western Conference, but the Eastern Conference. Say if they were able to make the finals, I don't think that they would beat the Celtics, and of course not the Bucks either, but I can talk about this later. But I think that the Celtics, honestly, I would pick them over the Bucks to make the finals, but that's a discussion for another day. But when you look at the Western Conference, I'm taking the Suns over them for sure. Bradley Beal just needs to get healthy, and I'm for sure going to take them over the Clippers. I would take the Lakers, of course, over them. Easily the Denver Nuggets over them. Even someone like the Sacramento Kings over them. Now, I wouldn't take the Warriors over the Clippers just because Chris Paul, not saying that he's not still a solid player and a good player, but his injuries always have you questioning things going into the postseason. So I would pick the Clippers over them, but they just have a lot of teams. That's like 4 teams in the Western Conference alone I just named over the Clippers. And a team that arguably could be over them too is someone like the New Orleans Pelicans. If Zion Williamson stays healthy, I would definitely pick the Pelicans over the Clippers. It might be disrespectful to say, but you just can't trust the Clippers. Do you know that they're going to be healthy going into the playoffs? If you know that, if you could predict April 2024 that Kawhi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden are all going to be on the court together, then maybe I'll give them a chance. But just because you put 4 stars together doesn't mean it's going to automatically work. These guys aren't the Golden State Warriors. They don't always constantly move around. Typically, when these players don't have the ball, they're standing in the corner. That's for sure with James Harden. You don't see him cutting and moving around like a Steph would. Russell Westbrook, I mean, he's not going to command attention from the three-point line from defenders. They're going to let him shoot and live with a shot. And then Kawhi and Paul George, I would say they move around more than Westbrook and Harden, I would say, but they still are very ball dominant themselves. So it's really just a tricky fit in my eyes. But really, this doesn't move me. Honestly, this trade does not move me. Of course, they added PJ Tucker in the trade, who's going to be really good for them defensively and overall and making those occasional corner threes that he tends to do. I just don't see the Clippers making the finals, honestly. Of course, I have them making the playoffs because that would be disrespectful not to have them make the playoffs, even though the West is going to be super stacked and you can't afford to slip any games. And I would probably even predict them to make the second round, but Western Conference Finals and NBA Finals, I definitely can't go there, honestly, because I just can't trust those guys. It is what it is, and that's for real. And really, if we look at the Los Angeles Clippers era with Kawhi and PG, and they don't have any championships or any finals appearances, this will be looked at as a catastrophic failure for sure. They signed in the summer of 2019 with the intent to capture multiple championships, and they still haven't brought the Los Angeles Clippers one. And they're staring at the Los Angeles Lakers in the same city, who, in my opinion, have a better roster overall, who are more reliable overall, even with a 38, almost 39-year-old LeBron James, and saying, man, I would pick the Lakers over the Clippers. I would pick 4 to 5 teams in the Western Conference over the Clippers. And that sucks to say, but trust is everything, and I just can't trust these guys to be playing. But I would love to see Kawhi Leonard play, because when he plays and he's healthy, he's easily a top 3 to 5 player in the NBA. James Harden himself just turned 34 a couple months ago. Russell Westbrook is about to turn 35 this month in November. And then, of course, Kawhi Leonard is the youngest, being 32, and Paul George is 33. So I would say if it was 2017 or 2018, these would for sure be the championship favorites in the NBA. But unfortunately, we're in 2023, almost in 2024, and this team can for sure be really good and contend, but I wouldn't pick them over the 5 to 7 teams that I mentioned prior. But yeah, guys, with that being said, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below about this James Harden trade to the Los Angeles Clippers. This is James Harden's 4th team in 4 years. It's insane to say that, man. Do you think it's him that's the problem? Do you think that this will fit, him being a part of the Los Angeles Clippers? Y'all let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys watching always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Swaggy Wrestling, also on TikTok at Swaggy Wrestle 2 for cooking videos, shorts, reels, and things of that nature. More content is on the way. I appreciate your love and support always. Y'all be blessed and y'all have a good one.